Mm-hmm. Hello, how are you? Happy Saturday to all my friends out there in the world. Everybody out there in the great big world trying to stay away from each other today. Hello. And if you're on the beach in Jacksonville, Florida, and you're right up against someone that you love, well, good luck to you. I hope that you're all doing well today. It's Jeff Kravitz. It is 420 live. We're tuning in. It's 410. It is April 420 all month long. All month long. It is 420. And we are here with you, coming to you to distract you from what's going on out there in the world. Every time you turn on the news, it's a flood of tears. And my feed is completely loaded with all of you experts out there, all of you medical experts, all of you pandemic experts, all of you preppers, the people out there that know it all, that just seen the post on Facebook, the most inane things I have ever seen in my life. I'm like, who are you people? Can't you just post what you had for lunch? I mean, come on. I don't really need to hear your take on the pandemic response or whatever it is, because nobody really cares, and that's it. Just clogging up the shit. I mean, there's different places for that. So one of the reasons we're here is to distract you from all of that and take you away from it. And I think we've done a pretty good job over the past 5. We are wrapping up week 5. Tomorrow will be day 7. Excuse me, I got itchy nose. Tomorrow will be day 7. Of week 5, and we've been locked down here with you and distracting each other, and the comments and all the response, and the amazing week we had this week celebrating one of our favorite plants has been nothing short of amazing. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in and for accepting me as part of their daily regimen. I see the people tuning in every day, my Ninas, my Lindas, my Sempsies, the Cole Barron, my Dr. Kravitz, my Kelly Baines, Paulie Oliphant, and happy birthday to your beautiful lady, Nina. I love you guys. It's just, I love the love, and I'm doing this all for you. And I was talking today about it, like all the different little knickknacks I'm giving away to people. This is not for me. This is not a profit thing. I'm doing it for purely out of love. And, when my friends come to me like Chewy and he's like, hey, Kravitz, I need to get the word out. I'm trying to launch a brand in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm like, Chewy, come on, let's talk. What do you got? He's got the Also Organics, 20% off code right there, Kravitz 420. So help our friend Chewy out with his new biz. My family's been eating that CBD stuff and the drops. We've been giving it to the dog. We're almost out of gummies. Jules has been putting this stuff on wherever she's aching. She's already scooping through the salve. So everybody's really enjoying the CBD products and integrating them into our lives, and give them a try. I think they're a lot of fun. As you know, we're also doing giveaways all week. All of our guests on the show are going to get the beautiful solo pipe. Hold on, I just got a new box of the silver ones, the silver solo pipes. So everybody's getting one of these doodads. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. And I didn't test it first to make sure there was gas in it. So that was just a fluke. Solo Pipes, my friend, I talked to Gary over there. They're so excited. That's another brand that's launching in the middle of a pandemic. And, my friend Asher's Chocolates called me up. He's like, we want to give everybody a little sweetness. Everybody was bugging him on the chat yesterday for a discount code. So I expect Jeff to come up with that in the next couple of days, because I'm sure maybe we could just sell all his leftover Easter chocolate, because I know there's a lot of that left. Anyway, everybody, I'm glad you're here. My wife says I talk too fast. She's right. So you could slow me down to half speed, or I'll try to breathe a little bit slower. All week we've been bringing you a Cannabis Week celebration, because it's 420 all month. And, it's something that's become incredibly important to me, is cannabis use. And, in the beginning, when you start off with this stuff, it was kind of like you're just trying to get away from your parents and do what you're not supposed to do, and your friends are all turning you on to it, and it becomes one thing. And then as you grow up and grow into it, it becomes a completely different part of your life. And I know a lot of people have substance abuse problems out there, and I totally support everybody taking care of themselves and being healthy as possible and learning how to use things in a adult way where we're not binging out and going in the wrong direction with stuff, and trying to keep each other healthy. And for years, we talked about that a lot this week, that it's not recreational. This is medical, that we do it to stay sane. I do it to not kill everybody in the family when they piss me off. So it keeps me relaxed and steady and on an even keel. And I think that that's what is the most important thing, is to stay balanced. And it helps me with that. And the CBDs seem to be helping too. So, we've had the CBD talk on Monday with Jadon and Chewy. Tuesday, I can't even remember what we did Tuesday. How's that for my brain? No, Tuesday was, all right, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to go to what we're doing today. We're doing, obviously, see, I've had a good morning. Today we're doing Women in Cannabis with two of my favorite people, Elise McRoberts and Jen Bernstein. Elyse is going to be up first. Elyse and I met years ago, and I think in the beginning she was more of a celebrant of the plant than a businesswoman with it, but she's turned it into a business and a career, and I'm really proud of her. She's an influencer. She's a brand ambassador. She's knowledgeable. She knows her shit, and she can hula hoop dance. I saw her do her first fire hula hoop dance this year at Burning Man, and she's only gotten better at it, and I could sit and watch her hula hoop for hours. So say hi to my friend Elise McRoberts, everybody. Hold on right there. Hold on. How are you? Hold on. I got to shut off my Bluetooth here before I ruin my whole show. All right. There we go. Hi. Let's try that again.
Oh.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Great. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. I like your tie-dye.
Thank you. I was wearing some grimy old t-shirt, and I was like, I'm having ladies on today, so I should at least put on like a collared shirt. And I was like, it's time to party. It's party. Saturday's my party day. I'm going to play guitar tonight with my lasers and smoke machine around 10 o'clock Pacific time, because I'm a Burning Man is a state of mind, I've decided, and I'm going to go there as much as possible. How are you holding up through all this?
I'm holding up good. I'm home here in Mill Valley, and it's great that cannabis was deemed essential medicine. But I'm still laid off of work, but working a little because, to support the company as our products are getting out there to dispensaries. And this week with 420, suddenly got busy. I've got a couple different things I'm doing. I'm hosting the West Coast portion of the High Stream, which is the festival put on by National Cannabis Fest and the Emerald Cup and Nugs TV. And it's for a good cause. It's totally free, but you can donate to it. So I'm just got that gig, and I'm feeling good. It's 420. I feel grateful. I'm healthy. I'm in a beautiful place. I got lots of weed.
Yeah, it's true. I love the supply is absolutely astounding here in California. I had to order last night delivery, and it was just so seamless and beautiful. I'm like, I was happy. You're doing a 420 show, correct? Every day or 5 days a week, or?
Yeah, it's been sporadic. I've been going live all month with different Cannaboss ladies featuring different women in the industry. And it's been 3:30 to 4:30 hour. And then I had my first male guest was Steve Parrish from the Grateful Dead. I had him on Thursday.
Well, women are woefully underrepresented in the industry, is what I just saw a report that came out a couple days ago, maybe like a week ago, about how women in other industries, women command a lot more managerial and top level places, and in cannabis it's mostly male dominated, and the women having a little bit harder time. Is that your experience with what you're seeing?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm not just a brand ambassador. I'm actually the CMO or Chief Marketing Officer for Doc Greens, and I've held different C-level roles in cannabis companies. But when I first got into the industry in 2016, the statistic was that there were more women executives in the cannabis industry, meaning in C-level or C-suite or managerial, I guess, and then higher positions than any other industry. And then once it went legal and we saw more funding and more companies come into the industry, that number went down. So, And I've noticed it absolutely. Many female founders and female founded companies I've watched go out of business. And primarily, I'm the only woman on all male teams. But it is nice. I do work with other female bosses in their roles, but it's definitely less women than it used to be, I'd say, in the industry side.
Yeah, well, I guess it changes once the big money starts coming in, and the guys are like, "Well, I want to be in charge now."
Yeah,
it is a big money thing, and business is up almost 200%.
really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I saw 169% is what they're saying sales are. Are you seeing that in San Francisco or?
We've seen it like go like this. That's what the charts are. So there's a spike, and then a lull and another spike as we think people are stocking up and then going back maybe weekly. But the people who used to shop like daily and the frequent shoppers, I don't know if there's a total spike overall, is what I'll say. But everyone's doing well. I mean, with the dispensaries that are open, but it's still not the same numbers you'd expect for 420 and like the crazy traffic, when everyone would be out during this time of year shopping.
Right.
Yeah.
You think they're going to be the lines like there usually are tomorrow, or are most shops closed?
Most shops are really pushing for curbside pickup and delivery. And if so, I've heard the places, they have tape on the ground, just like your grocery stores, and they're going to be marking, how far away you should be standing. But yeah, I think the message is from most retailers, to get delivery or do the curbside pickup. Tomorrow I'm doing a hash panel with Soulful, or part of their rosin and hash education. So dispensaries are doing like things like this to try to get, stay connected with the community, which is cool.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, we've seen an uptick here in LA, but I talked to a friend of mine in Las Vegas, and he said the business for cannabis was mostly a lot of tourists, and now the tourists aren't coming in.
Yeah.
So the locals really aren't consuming as much. So their shops have been empty out there.
I bet.
And I'm sure that's a lot in San Francisco too. We had a lot of tourists in LA too. It's the same thing. How do you think the medicine for women, the perception of it as a daily thing? It's for menopause now. It's for menstruation. It's a sexual stimulant. It's is there anything that cannabis can't do for a human being, for a man or a woman, really?
I mean, only the things we haven't discovered yet. I think it's such a magical, wonderful plant. We really do keep finding more benefits and ways that it helps us, and more intricacies within the plant. So we're really just at the beginning too. I mean, this research that they're opening up and just beginning to do, I mean, haven't been able to do in like 50 years.
What's some of the most innovative stuff you've seen with the plant? Yeah, because you see all the products. I know you're always up on what's happening.
Yeah, well, it's cool. There's now inhalable cannabis, so kind of like an inhaler, but you can just get your cannabinoids that way. I've seen every product under the sun that you can eat, drink, smoke, vape, or put under your tongue. Suppositories. I mean, concentrates.
But how about on the consumption level? What's your preference? I know you have that amazing device that you tend to. I see you using the most.
The vape exhale. Yes. Well, I love concentrates, specifically solventless concentrates and live rosin. And the vape exhale is awesome for home use, but it does require plugins. So I like a Puffco or Candy Pens Aura for on the road. This is like battery powered, and tap it, put your concentrates in the bowl. But yeah, those are some of my faves. I love the beverages, still love joints.
Yeah. All the good stuff.
Topicals. How could I not mention topicals? Yeah.
What do you see happening in the future for cannabis and women and the industry?
I'm hope to see more women in leadership and more women normalizing and using the plant. And I just hope that cannabis truly can be normalized overall, like across the country, and with that federal legalization, of course, too. But there's a lot of things to go through there.
Do you want to talk about what you do with Doc Green and what your job is there?
Sure. Doc Green's, it's a legacy brand. They've been manufacturing cannabis products since 2009. I joined them in 2018 as a consultant. and I helped them build out their product line and developed the whole new brand. And so that's everything from helping source the flower that we use to make our concentrates to then everything branding and marketing, our packaging, our website, our social media, public relations. And we just launched this past December at the Emerald Cup. So I led that whole project. We had a big booth. Those were our first legal sales of the Prop 64 era, and we were a Prop 215 brand. So that was really monumental. For those who don't know, Prop 215 was the original medical marijuana bill in California in 1996, the first in the country, and the reason we have legal cannabis in the ways that we do. So yeah, I love working with Doc Greens. We're a small team, small company, and we still, they were medical providers back then, and we still treat cannabis as medicine now, even though we do concentrates and joints. We, put that same care to quality and attention in the purest sourcing and, the best packaging and the most sustainable for the planet that we can do. I love it.
So are you just available in California?
Yes, we are. In order for brands to be in other states, it requires a licensing deal. So, the product can't cross state lines. So any brands that you see in multi-states, that means that brand went there and found a cultivator or a manufacturer, what have you, made a partnership deal, licensed the brand, and that product is being produced in that state so it can be sold there.
Yeah, that's a major difference. It has to be made where it's sold.
Yes.
And that's really, do you think that's going to change? That has to change soon, right?
That's the one thing that federal legalization would change, is that we'd be able to, we believe, interstate commerce. But yeah, that's why that is. It's federally illegal still.
How do you think cannabis is going to play in the election?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because Bernie had a whole big support group with the cannabis legalizers.
I know. Now I think everyone's afraid, right, that the Bernie supporters aren't even going to turn up for Biden. So it's kind of scary. He doesn't really, get a lot of, radicals and hippies excited. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Or feminists. The dude's like accused of sexual assault. Women are not psyched to show up for him.
Yeah, I know it's really hard, but it's like you got the inherent evil on one side. Yeah. Politics is picking the least of two evils, and it's not a popularity contest. It's got to be who we think is going to put the best team together to run the future, and hopefully he'll learn to keep his hands. I think he's learned to keep his hands to himself over the past couple of years, the way he's been roasted. But Elyse, I want to thank you for coming on. I love you. It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Say hi to John and everybody up there. Elyse is part of my crew up there in Northern California. We hang out at the Burn and have a blast. So it's great to see you. And I'm bummed we're not going to be out on the playa this year. But
I know. I'll see you in the multiverse.
Yeah, I guess that's what we're going to have to do, huh? I'm going to have to Oculus glasses.
And keep the state of mind going, the lasers, the jams, and I'll do the same.
Thanks, Elyse. Have a great day. See you later.
Bye.
Okay. Elise McRoberts, everybody, from Doc Green. Thank you for coming in, Elyse. She's an old friend. Next up, our next beautiful woman in the industry is the one and only Jen Bernstein. Jen was the editor of High Times magazine for years. And hi, Jen.
Woo!
I'm
an official High Times cannabis judge, centerfold taster.
You're still judging right now, aren't you?
I'm trying not to be too judgy. I try not to be, but no. I mean, there's never good enough weed.
No. Really?
No, I'm pretty happy with anything. I say there's two types of weed. There's the weed you have and the weed you don't have. And I much prefer the first.
Tell us about your time at High Times, like what your years were there and what your time frame was.
Well, I started pre-legalization. I was actually on Summer Fish Tour, and it was 2011, I want to say, and I answered an ad for High Times. They needed a managing editor. And so I was in the middle of Alpharetta, Georgia, at some Look hotel. And I answered an ad for High Times for a managing editor. And I got back from tour, a week or two later and had an interview over there. And I mean, it was kind of cliche. Like, I don't know, you're on Fish Store and you answer an ad for High Times. Like, how could you not get hired? But they loved the fact that it wasn't because I had a master's in publishing or I had this, long, illustrious career in magazines. One magazine, which was Trump Magazine, working for the Trump family.
Yes. No shame there. My brother worked for Trump back in the day. He was a major employer in Atlantic City and New York, everywhere. So no shame. Just now, if you were working for him, then we have an issue.
Right. Continue. Right. Yeah. This was a while ago, and that was 2007. But 2011 started working there. They liked that I could play softball. They needed some women for the bong hitters. And High Times actually has a very competitive, softball league, and I played. So got the job so I could play ball.
How are your softball skills? Were they your editing skills?
Oh, I mean, I could field pretty good. I have a pretty good arm, but my editing skills are superior.
I would hope so. Jen hired me for the Tommy Chong. I went down to Chong when they released Chong's Choice. And yes. Did a shoot with Tommy, and that was the first time I worked with him. And I remember taking all the bud that they left on the table and shoving it in my pockets, and like, okay,
good weed, man.
It was really good too. He had some great Jack. What's your what's your favorite? I mean, I had Bloom on and Shirley. You saw that the other day, and they were talking about their Ozzy cover. What's your favorite moment there?
Ah, man, there's so many. I got to meet, Family Man, Ashton Barrett, the bass player for the Wailers. And as a bass lover, I mean, I loved meeting him. I mean, we threw some good parties. We threw a Red Rocks party where Slightly Stupid came rearing out in their van, and they opened the doors and they come running out and there's smoke, and it's 420 at Red Rocks. I mean, yeah, there's covers, but really the shows that we put on are the experience of getting high with 47,000 people at the first ever legal Cannabis Cup in Denver, and being in charge of a parking lot, right? And people just waited 45 minutes to get in this parking lot because it was 420, and at 420 everybody just lit up. Just the thickest clouds ever. And I was standing on a table looking around how is this my job? How is this possible? It was ridiculous. It was like Disneyland of weed.
Well, the Cannabis Cups themselves are amazing events for a cannabis lover. I mean, and High Times been doing those for years.
Right. I mean, this this was the 25th, I think, right? The 25th Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam. 25 years just going to Amsterdam. And that's how the Cannabis Cup started, was Steve Hager, in the 90s, went to Amsterdam and just wanted to get his best friends around to see who had the best weed. Right. And so they all just gathered to see who had the best weed. And slowly it just evolved into, we really want to find out who has the best weed.
Yeah, but now it's America who has the best weed. The Amsterdam can't come close to what they're pulling out of their shops for some reason. I went there. I was there a year and a half ago, and I walked into the shop with the Greenhouse, which is the legendary shop, and always had the bomb bud.
You're gonna go see Arian, and he's like strain hunters. He's going all over the world, and
Oh yeah, I saw him. He has the TV show, right?
Yeah.
So
rest in peace, Franco. Yeah.
The guy started showing me the stuff behind the counter, and I looked at it, and he could see that I wasn't impressed with anything he was showing me. And he just said, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "California." And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're not going to find what you're looking for here." He goes, "It's better off back home." He goes, "There was a time when when California came here to get ideas from us, but about 8 or 9 years ago, that all changed, and now we go to California to get the ideas, because Amsterdam never progressed out of the coffee shop and the space cake mentality into the oils and the extracts, because that stuff was looked at as heavy drugs, right?"
Well, but they had hash. They have hash, and they have Temple balls.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's the first
yeah,
place
they
I ever
never
saw.
really got into the concentrate scene like we did. And that was really at the time that like the cups kind of stopped going to Amsterdam. And you know, the genetics, I think some of the genetics were in Amsterdam and people originally were there. And if you were selling seeds and if you were a seed company and like you were, you know, reading High Times and wanting to know what the new strains were, the new, and I mean, this was like, you went to the cups and you
Right.
went to Amsterdam but you went to Amsterdam to, you know, get your seeds, or it was Spain, and they really produce some of, you know, hundreds of thousands of millions of seeds.
Well, I heard stories about guys that were smuggling weed into Amsterdam to enter into the cup.
Yes, definitely. Well, the DNA guys, right? And then, I mean, even with concentrates then in the end, but yeah, the deal was like you would send 3 packages knowing that at least one would get through. And this was just to win like the, you know, the Cannabis Cup originated in Amsterdam. It's the cup. And so it also holds the largest gravitas, if you know.
Well, and then the flip side was the only place to get information when you were a stoner was High Times. So you would gravitate to High Times for every piece of information. It's where you heard of all the strains. It's where you saw the seed banks, where it's where you read the interviews with guys like Ben Dronkers from Sensi Seed Banks and all these legendary guys. It was it wasn't like now you got Google, you got Leafly, you have Weed Maps, you have all these different information.
Fingertips.
It's unbelievable. Back in those days, I remember the Cannabible came out, and that was great. And that was, you know, you had pictures of everything, and that wasn't too long
High
ago.
Times taught you how to grow. They taught you, you know,
right. Ask Ed.
They always had the munchies column. They have it was all stoner culture. I mean, I took over the Pot 40. We used to write fish in all the time. I mean, there's strains that originated on Grateful Dead tour. I mean, Chaldone will tell you.
The Chem Dog, for one. The Chem Dog.
Yeah, Chem Dog. I mean, just. So yeah, there's, you know, there's just so many similarities in our cultures.
when did you finish there? When did you wrap it up?
So my daughter Evie was born in 2015, and I was like the first woman to leave High Times, give birth, and then go back and, you know, go back to work. So I went back to work in like 2016, and then I stayed around for like another 9 months, I think. And then they sold the company. It was a family-owned company. They moved to California. I like New York City.
Yeah.
Leaving. And, you know, it's changed a lot, and it's changed ownership. It doesn't have the heart it used to. It's very different. You know, High Times remains the #1 brand and name in cannabis. They'll always be the OG, but they're just not the only ones out there anymore.
Well, now, yes, and they missed the whole information age, where everybody's on the apps and there are the Weed Maps and the Leaf.
We're here now.
Yeah, it's almost like the magazine killers. You know, a lot of magazines, like Playboy's not printing anymore. I mean, it's incredible what's happening. Nobody's going to print because they can see what's happening, and it's kind of scary.
It's sad because I mean that's a whole source of income. I'm sure it was for you, right? And
well, yes, High Time, yeah, magazines, yes, magazine sales were huge because you get paid back in the day based on how big your picture was. If it was a quarter page, it was $250. It was a half page, it was $500. If it was it was a full page, it was $1,000. With a double page spread, it was $2,000. It was a cover, it was $3,000. I mean, that was great money back there for photographs. And now I got Instagram giving my pictures away I can't sue anybody if they use them because of this court ruling this week. So it's created a whole, you know, all of our industries change, but High Times definitely dropped the ball and didn't stay up with the technology. I guess maybe because they were an old school family, you know?
Yes and no. I mean, nobody knew what the evolution of weed would look like, or you know, or print or magazines. I mean, the thing is, it's not even that print is dead, because print was actually doing really well. Because where else could these brands advertise, and where else are you going to get the information? And like, it's so crazy that like we lived this long, right, through, subpoenas from the federal courts to hand over our subscription list because they wanted to know, it's considered paraphernalia.
Right.
High Times was considered paraphernalia. I've had bands tell me that, they didn't want to do a High Times interview because they didn't want to alert the, anyone to them.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, you were a pariah if you got high.
Exactly.
I mean, ultimately, one of the reasons I left home was because in New Jersey, the mindset was completely different than it was in California. Plus, the bud was a lot better in California.
Right, exactly. Smart man.
I was kind of selfish. What's your perception of the female power in the industry?
Well, I love it. I mean, when I was at High Times, it was definitely not like that in numbers, but I would say that all of the women really ran the show over at High Times. And I guess that's why we really killed it the entire time. Mary McAvoy, our publisher, was kick-ass. Eleanor Kennedy, her and her husband had worked with the Black Panthers. I mean, the reason why High Times survived was because we had lawyers as our owners, and they were able to get us out of the stickiest situations.
Because people were constantly suing you guys.
I mean, or trying to bust us or arrest us or, shut us down.
Well, back in those days, they didn't want to have freedom of the press, and look at us now. Now it's even worse.
I don't know. So, I've been teaching everybody every day of quarantine how to roll a joint. And that's one of the skills that I learned at High Times. And I felt like everybody should end quarantine, or at least know that they accomplished something. And if you could roll a joint, that's a lifelong skill you can have. I think it's really important.
I've never lost it. And I would say I'm probably rolling more doobs now than I ever have. But because
socially, it's still the best when we're at concerts. I love,
no more. No more. You can't. You're not allowed to pass me your joint anymore, Jen.
See,
it's smoke your own joint. We're gonna have to have filters that we put them in. This is your filter, and each person has.
He has. He wears this necklace, right? It's cool.
Yeah, he is something else. What a character.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of marijuana freedom fighters out there, and it's just amazing who went to bat when it was not socially acceptable. And High Times is one of those freedom fighters. So
true that.
You've been a huge influence, Jen, and I thank you for your love and friendship.
Well, I such a big fan of yours. Not only photography, friendship, guitar playing, your fucking dead cover band. Best. No, but seriously, thank you for doing this. I mean, you started as a 420 show, right?
Yeah.
It's evolving, but your roots are in this just as much as, much more so than mine.
Yeah, I know. And I was, I'm going through names for the project when I get it out of this 420 world, because as much as I love being a marijuana influencer, it's not really what I was cut out for. And I want to make sure that we can broaden it and include, cannabis is always going to be a running theme of my life and my talk and rap. But, I want to concentrate on things.
To get that message out, right?
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, I don't want to say you can't get pigeonholed, but, I want to keep my options open and look at be a big picture kind of guy. And I kind of like to look at the big picture. And, there's a time and a place for everything. And, the time for cannabis during this pandemic is all the time.
I hear you.
How everybody's holding up well, your family, Edie's doing it.
Everybody's great. Scott's good. He's, he works not on the weekends, but he's, working from home. We have a nice schedule with Evie. It's mom school, a lot of art projects, and yeah, we're doing the best we can. Yeah,
well, we all got to hang in there. I will see you around. I've been sitting. Jen does a 420 on the East Coast at 120, right. And I've been popping in there to say hi.
You got to win one of these.
Tell us about that. You're giving away a volcano?
Giving away a volcano, the classic. Go to NYC Jam Gal. That's GAL. On the
Yeah, it's
old
right there on the
Twitter.
screen.
Yeah, right down here. And there's a link in my profile, right on my page. It's a bit.ly link. It's like bit.ly get volcano. And you just got to take a survey, and then we're going to announce the winner. 4/23, which is my birthday.
Excellent. And you're gonna be 29, right?
I wish. 27, that rock star age.
That's great.
All right, man.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. We got to go get on the quarantine.
You have a good 420, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, man.
All right, bye. Okay. Yes, that's right. My friend Jesse Laudner and DJ Airwolf are on the Quartrain Jam. I wish if somebody has that, maybe they can post it and I can share it here. There's my women, a couple of the women in my life. Tomorrow we are going to talk to Vanessa Marigold and my friend Joe AJ, who was an amazing breeder who started the Sour Diesel, and that's and maybe another guest or two. There's a big thing going on 420 in San Francisco. My friend Tanner Wires working on. We're probably going to talk to Tanner for a little bit. And yes, I saw Linda Castleton talk about how today was a family day and it's a weekend. And I like to make my weekends my family time. This is when we met Rose, my former roommate, animal trainer. And, I like to take the time because it's more of a relaxed little vibe today because it's Saturday. And I've been medicating myself all day here at the house. But it's been, it's just kind of crazy. The whole thing has just been one unbelievable ride after another. And I did not set up a Zoom hang today. I'm not going to pass on that today, but we'll be back on Monday 420 and we'll do a Zoom smoke after the show. I want to remind everybody that my people are going to get a solo pipe. Jen and Elyse are going to get a solo pipe, as well as a box of the delicious Asher's chocolates, a little box coming their way. And my boy Chewy has your CBD right there at Also Organics. There's your code. Ping them. These are all not paid. These are just for my friends out there. And my boy Brian Raskin, my tube's at the office, so I'm using my house tube today. I'm going to have to get another tube from him instead of have for the office. But he made a nice little gift for Tommy because I saw Tommy getting high with a Tommy Chan getting high with a Fiji water bottle with a bone in it on his website. So the other day he told me he uses a homemade bong. And I was like, Brian, you got to take care of this guy. So Raskin is spinning a tube for him. He's already spun it. It's already spun out in the mail. It's coming to me. I'm going to run it up there. I'm going to run Tommy up some Asher's chocolates too. So he has some munchies. I'm going to be just Tommy Santa Claus all week, bringing him different things up there. Uncle Jesse's on the, that's what it's called. He's on Zoom. Uncle Jesse, Quartrain Live. That's the party. I'm going to slip in there as soon as we're done here. Jason Back, you want a volcano? NYC Jam Gal, Jen Bernstein. You could find her. You're deeply invested in how long you let your hair grow. Kelly Baines, I have a device where I cut my own hair because I don't have any hair. So it's just one of those little Remington thingies that you put the different size clippers on. And then I'll have to have Lulu come and do the back because I did the back last week and cut myself up to here. So you can't do your own back. That's the hard part. I need eyes in the back of my head. So I am not I am not doing it. Jen probably could. I don't know. She's a pretty magical woman. Yes. Jen does give joint rolling lessons every day for everybody tuning in. And let's see. What else we have here? Just scrolling up. Hello, Patrick. Patrick tuning in. Ohio. Betsy, Bess Ross, enjoying the show. Bob checking in. Bob English. Hi, everybody. Gary checking in with the Jam Gal. The Jam Gal. What's the status of federal as a possibility? Well, I don't know. He might need to do that to win the election. The orange Cheeto. Normalize it. Legalize it. DJ, one of my favorite guitar players. If you have not heard DJ Williams' Shots Fired, wow. That's one of the last shows I saw a couple weeks before we went into, he was at the Mint, and I went down to see him. Oh my God, that band is so funky, so good. Check out DJ Williams. My old friend Barry Levitt from ACHS, Atlantic City High School. Speaking of Atlantic City and Atlantic City High School, we lost two legends the past couple days. Joe Rush, he was my chief on the Atlantic City Beach Patrol. I've known him since I was a kid. He went to high school with my mom. He was an older guy, and he had been in and out of the hospital. I follow his son Joe on Facebook, and I could see his dad just a week before he died, hanging out at the house and being quarantined and drinking his son's scotch. And I'll miss Joe. He was always a fixture on the beach and in my life down there. And another one was Norman Draper, who was a teacher of mine in high school, as well as a comrade of mine on the Atlantic City Beach Patrol. And he was a guitar player. When Pinky used to let me host his shows when I was a kid, as you guys are kind of wondering where this comes from, it's from my dad. And when I was a kid, he would not be able to do the show, maybe go out of town or have something going on, and he'd be like, sit in for me and bring somebody from high school. So I'd bring Norman Draper and a couple other kids, and we'd go and sit and talk on the air for 3 hours doing call-in. This is only, we're at 41 minutes here. I'm just warming up. The women are using it for their cramps. I use it for cramp. I don't know if you know this, but I too use marijuana for PMS, because if I don't smoke it whenever all the women in my house are PMSing, I will kill somebody. So it works. It keeps men calm when women aren't. So it really works good. Yes, these ladies are shit. All my viewers, all you guys out there know Elyse, and you all know Jen. And I mean, this was really good. Oh, thank you, Zoran, my historian documenter, Shirley Hopper and Steve Bloom, of course. The other editor for High Times, right? That's right. Yes, hello from New Zealand. 420 here tomorrow. Oh yeah, that's right. You're ahead of us, and New Zealand's under the curve, but I've heard very good things from Australia, that people, I guess they took this BCBG and it's keeping them done, self-controlled and balanced. Yes, that's what it's all about. Ike, Asher's, Asher's Chocolate's Philadelphia legends. Chocolate too, you see, Alana, we are kicking it up. I would die for some of those chocolate. I sure hope there's a box of Kravitz coming in too. So everybody, yes. Oh, here it is. Mr. Sampsey, we were just talking about Norman. Yes, I was friends with Norman Draper. I knew him very, very well. Thank you. There is a party going on here. I had to kick. Zach was back there playing Mario Kart with one of his friends, and I had to kick them out. Yeah, this is not going to be my nickname. This is a blip in the Kravitz career as a talk show host, hopefully, or it could be all there is. I'm riding a line in between. So, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. You guys complete me and make it so I'm not just talking. Oh yes, Mr. Newstatter, he was a cool cat. Yes, Norman Draper, he was a good guitar player. I was reading about him today. Very, very sad. Hey, listen, we're losing a lot of amazing people right now, and it's not just all coronavirus. It's there's people die every day, and when you look at the amount of people tested. Not because I'm not an expert, but if you look at the amount of people tested, it is a small fraction. There's 3 million people tested in the United States. And we have 300 million people here. New York City's tested 550,000 people. California's tested 250,000. So I don't know these numbers. It's just so beyond me how we can have people so inefficient. And if you didn't see Mr. Cuomo, the governor's speech yesterday, and his talk about the guy who's done all he can and is finished doing anything about this, you owe it to yourself to check it out. I don't mean to get on the politics here, but the lunatics are running the asylum. It's a shell game. You're the P, and the target is the dollars inside your pocket. So hold on to your dollars. Everybody wants them. File for whatever they're going to give you, because they just gave $8 billion to the airlines, and the airlines fired everybody in the next breath. So hold on to what you have. Don't let it go. Hold on to each other. Oh, yes. Thank you, Gary. Tomorrow is bicycle day. Dr. Hoffman went for his famous ride. I have to look that up, but because there was two different things. There was the bike ride home, and then there was the accidental ingestion at his house that happened before the bike ride. I believe the bike ride was the first accidental trip, and then I have to go back and read it. But I love Albert Hoffman. He was a genius. I love LSD. Sorry, Mom. I do. I love you all too. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys all have a great day out there. Take care of each other. Hydrate. Do everything right. Wear a mask when you go out. They don't let you in the store without a mask. They don't even let you bring your bags anymore. Take care of each other. Here you go, folks. Big hug. Me and my tie-dye. Bringing it in. No pits today. Well, there probably are, but you can't see in the tie-dye. Everybody have a good night. I will be playing guitar tonight with my laser show and my son on the DJs. I think he's actually excited about it because like 700 people have seen him now DJing. So he thinks he has a mini career. Thanks, everybody. Jack, love you. Kelly, love you. Ari, Hakeem, my family, my people. Love you guys. I'm here for you. You're here for me. Jack, I think Zach and I want to do burgers and never say die, but I got it. This job is kind of jacking me up. I love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Take care and enter the contest for the bong. You have another 2 days to win it. It's on my Instagram at Jeff Kravitz. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Saturday night.